Welcome back, guys. We are going to get started tearing this semi-trailer down. We just got to do the back axle, so hopefully it shouldn't take long. Last year was our learning experience taking the front axle apart, so kind of remember what I'm doing. Just translate it to the back one. Once the wheels are off and you're left with just that spider and the brake drum, you pull this hubcap off, and there's a giant nut in there, which we have a special socket for over here, I think. Right there. Somehow it got put with the hacksaws, but I remembered it being in there. So this is a giant, it's a specific hub socket for wheel bearing hubs on semis. So that is what you use to loosen it, because they're not tight, they're cotter keyed in place. So if I remember right, when you tighten it down, you back it off like a half a turn or something like that. I'll have to Google that when we get to it. But once that's off, then we pull the shoes off, and then we pull the snap rings and pull the S-cam off. And then this side gets an air chamber as well, so I'll have to go and dig up all those parts. So there's the cap off. We're draining the oil out of it. There's not a whole lot in this one apparently, but it just takes an 80-90 weight oil. That's all that goes in there, and it's looking like the bearings that I thought were it are not it. Some bearings in there are massive. So I do remember only ordering 2 sets of wheel bearings, but I thought we might have ordered the 3rd and 4th set after knowing that they all got to be done once you take them apart. Oh, actually, those are the seals right there. So we got 1 bearing, 2 seals. Alright, well, I'll get a number on them, call the parts store, and have them order some more. I just feel better when you go through all this effort of putting new wheel bearings in anyway. With the amount of traveling this trailer does, a lot of our grain buyers are 35 to 50 miles away, so this trailer does a bit of hauling. I just feel better about there being new bearings and everything in them. So yeah, so that's just standard procedures, is replacing them wheel bearings. But we'll let that drain for a while. That's just 80-90 weight oil. I think I already said that. And we'll have to clean the cover all up. Last year when we put them back together, we had one of these O-rings break, but we don't have any O-rings this size. So if one does break again, we'll have to order it. Cotter key, nut, washer are off. If you guys have a transmission jack, we found this works really well for supporting all that, because that's like 150, 200 plus pounds. So we wheel that under, put some tension on it, and she usually walks right off, and then we just leave it sitting on the jack while we do all the brake shoe and all that. So once we get it off, I'll make sure both bearings are identical, and then make sure that matches the number of the one we have over there. And then I will call and get some more bearings coming. So drum seems fine on this side. That's good. We keep the one around for a spare. Got the last bearing to slide out. You see those heat rings on there. That means it's gotten warm enough to where it expanded and slid on the shaft itself. So been told that means you gotta replace it.
Do we have bearings in stock?
We have 1.
We got 1?
Yeah. They're over here. I remember having enough to do the front. These are seals. We had enough to do the front, and I don't know if that was all they could get at the time or what. But I still gotta take the seal off, and then pop the shoes and pull the S-cam, this thing here. One step that I forgot about and had to remind myself of is we have to drive these two pins out. And so the best way to do that is to heat up the cradle around them and drive them out. And before they cool down, slide the new ones in. And the new ones come with a bushing to make it easier to take them out the next time. Because I don't think those ones have a bushing on them. Maybe they do. I can see a little bit of one maybe. But once those are out, these come with the new shoes. Those drive in. And then those will be ready for the shoes to go back on. But before the shoes can go back on, we're going to pull this S-cam out. And at each bushing point, we're going to wire wheel the snot out of it and then put it back on and then grease the snot out of it. Because with our gravel roads, if there isn't grease in those S-cam bushings, then there will be dust. And then the dust just gums everything up, and we end up with problems like what we have where the brakes don't release timely, and sometimes they don't release at all when you're trying to get going in the morning. If I remember right, if those bushings don't come out with the old ones, you don't have to work them out to get the new ones in. These ones are still plenty good enough. Eventually those bushings will come out, I think, with when you do the replacement, and when that happens, you pound the new ones in with those. But I don't think the old ones have to come out. I mean, those are tight. I had to pound those pins in, so they still rotate a little bit, and that's good. So now we got to pull the S-cam out, and then we got to do the air chamber on this side. For anybody in the undercoating industry, quick tip for you. Don't undercoat the S-cam shafts. That's what's all over these is undercoat, and it is a mess. I got enough scraped off to work it down farther and then do this part. When I go and get wheel bearings today, I'll probably end up getting a wire brush to put on the drill, but I'm having issues with getting this cam, this is another cam, I don't remember what this cam's called though, off. So I sprayed it all down with Rust Bomb, and we're going to leave it for a while, go see if Dad needs any help, and then come back to it. Well, I sprayed her down with Rust Bomb, walked away for a while, came back, was tapping on it, sprayed it down some more, put the puller on it, and she pushed right out. No problem. So that is the S-cam sitting there. And I do need to mention, hopefully you guys aren't following this step by step, or else you guys will have already discovered that. There is a snap ring down here as well. So it's right on the other side of this first bushing, and there's a snap ring on the end with a little shim washer, and then there's a shim washer between that cam and that bushing. So keep all that in mind. Now we're going to the bench top wire wheel, and because of the whole undercoat situation, which is what we had last year, I just somehow completely forgot about it. Oh, and there's a shim washer there as well. We're wire wheeling from end to end. Wire wheeling the splines, getting them all cleaned up. We might have to take the grinder and recut this snap ring edge. I know we need to grind it down. It's a little bit mushroomed, but it's not a lot. It didn't give me any issues coming out, but we will grind that down so that everything goes back together nicely. And I already talked to the parts store. I talked to them at like 9:30. So they didn't have the National bearing, but they had the, what's it called? Tipton, I think is what the other brand is. And so they're bringing me 3 of them. It costs like a couple dollars to get them today instead of tomorrow morning. So that way I can do this reassembly after lunch, hopefully. And then we don't have to sit and wait and carry this project into tomorrow, which the other side may carry into tomorrow, but I plan on having this side all put together today. Well, I'll be completely honest, that S-cam kicked my butt, but it's done, it's back on, and it's all cleaned up. So now we're gonna switch gears here for a second and assemble the shoes. There's a little bit of assembly required when it comes to before installation. So you're big on this trailer anyway. There are so many different kinds of brake shoes and brake drums and all of that. There's different variances, but on this one, the big side goes on those pre-installed shafts there. The little side gets the ones with the little grip on it. That grip is for gripping onto the S-cam so it doesn't slip. So we're going to lay these out how they would be on the truck. Just like that. And so these have a retaining clip, if I remember right. I don't remember how they go on, but I'll get one side assembled and then show you guys before and after. But these things go on that, and then they clip. Actually, these nubs here, the little nubs that stick out right there, clip into these holes to keep that pin in, to keep that pin from popping off while you're putting it on. All right, so just like that, that piece is on there. It can spin, can do whatever it wants to. This little piece here goes to the inside of the brake drum like this, so that it doesn't hinder anything. It doesn't catch on the drum, nothing like that. So it goes that way. So you put it on like that, and then squeeze really hard, push it around, and it just pops in and doesn't let that pin run away. So then we have these little things we got put in. They go, I'm looking at the other one just to make sure, they go in this hole. So you stick it down in the first one, and it'll only go that far without some persuasion. So you do that and then tap it harder. All right, now we get the big spring out. The big spring hooks onto that pole or that rod we just put on, and the same on the other side. So now the shoes are joined together, and then we it takes a little finagling. You guys start it on the back side, go on from the back side, and kind of hook one side over, and then pull the other side under, and then each of these springs goes on each side from that hole to that hole, and these can be pretty tricky to put on. You're going to do some fancy magic with a screwdriver. I don't think I have this S-cam exactly where it needs to go. Once we get the shoes kind of on there, I'll see it, and I'll adjust the main, I don't know what that cam's called. It's driving me crazy. We'll get that adjusted forward or backward to get the brakes in the lowest spot possible. So we want those pins on the shoes sitting in the bottom of these cavities so that they are squeezed together as far as they'll go. And then we'll have to wait till after lunch to go uptown, and hopefully those wheel bearings will be in, because that is the next step, is assembling. You got to put all the bearings, or the back bearing and the back seal, in the hub first. We have a special tool for installing the seal without breaking it. And then after that, those two are in, you slide the hub back on, put the other bearing on, put the washer on, put the nut on, and then that's, well, I'm going to be showing you guys. All right, so that's what that looks like now when it's on. You can see the position of that S-cam there. That's about where it needs to be. So we can still replace that air chamber. I keep forgetting about that thing. We should probably do that before we get too much farther along. So springs, these are the ones you pop in with the screwdriver. I think the biggest trick is finding the smallest screwdriver that you can. This is the one that worked for me. And just finding one that's small enough to maneuver that and not get in the way, but then big enough to obviously not break under spring tension. So shoes are mounted. You just got to do that air chamber, which we're doing a piggyback. It's up there on the shelf. So we leave this first section on the trailer. So we're taking this clamp off, which usually you got to do with a grinder, and then pulling that section off. So we take the airlines off, which I think is a 3/4 and 11/16. And then we use, I have a what are they called? an activator bolt, I guess, deactivator bolt that goes in there and pulls the spring back so that when you take it off, everything doesn't go kapoom. Yeah, so I have that in the truck, I think. All right, so here's a special toolkit you can get on Amazon. I think it was like $80, but this is the 6-inch seal installer kit tool. So that's the one we need for this. All we do, simple, new bearing goes in the back side like so. Very simple. And then the seal goes in. This seal is labeled fluid side, so it goes in that way. And then we just pound it in with the tool. And then we're all set to go onto the spindle. All right, now it's slid on. Take the other new bearing, slide it on, tapered inwards, and it's got to slide on a little bit farther before we can get that washer and nut on. So we'll try and tap it on a little bit. We don't want to put that seal in a bad spot on the back. So I think I can see it if I shine my light in from the back side. So I'm going to watch that seal, get it on far enough to get that washer and that nut started, and then we can use our socket and we tighten it up until that seal seats, and then I still have to Google how much we back it off before we put the cotter key in. All right, so what I've come up with is we're going to tighten that down until the seal seats and then back that nut off one turn and see where we're at as far as tightness goes, and maybe retorque to 50 pounds, but for sure back off one turn. All right, so in my amateur truck repair opinion, one turn was just too loose. There was too much movement in the hub. So I did torque it to 50 pounds, and it came just shy of this hole, so I tightened it just a little more to get it to where I could put the cotter key in. And that's nice. There's not up and down movement in the hub. There might be a hair side to side, but not anything noticeable. And it turns nice and freely. I hear some flaking. I think there might be some rust that flaked off inside the drum, but it should be good. So we can put our cover on and fill it with oil the first round, and we can let it set for a little bit, maybe check and see if that seal's going to leak or not, and then we should be all set. Then we'll reset the brake. So like I said, well, we can't reset the brake until the truck's running because we got to put some air to the trailer. So we'll do that tomorrow when we finish the other side, but we'll be able to go ahead and put wheels on, get it all fastened back up. Now that I've cleaned the sight gauge up, I don't know if you can see that, how nasty that O-ring is, all cracked out. I think we're just going to go in the morning and order one of them. Because that might not come apart when you put it on, but with all that nasty edge, it definitely ain't going to seal. That's for sure. I really want to keep this video strictly topical on the brake job, but I also want to keep you guys in the loop on what's going on here today, because I went and ordered those O-rings. They'll be in the morning, so I've got about a day to kill. Dad's still working on this hay barn. He's going to get it buttoned up and purled, and that way we can be sheeting it from the outside while there's hay in there. So he's on the tail end of like fixing posts and doing all the tongue and groove and stuff like that. But right now I am working on getting numbers put together for how much 28 we need for side dress, because we are about a week, maybe 2 at the most, out from having to start side dressing. The corn is going gangbusters right now, being 95 to 100 degree heat and sun for the last 3 days. So I'm adding up how much we have currently in our tanks. I have a number already for how much we need total, and then we're gonna see how much we need to order and get out here. Well, it's been raining all day, so the whole acoustics in here haven't been the greatest to record in, but I have this side just about torqued completely down. I was about to start torching those things out, and then we will start the reassembly, clean up the S-cam, put that back in. We can assemble this side all the way up to before putting that on, just like the other side. O-rings will be here tomorrow, so then once we're done with that, we just put the caps back on, put the wheels on, grease the trailer, and this thing's out of here, and then we bring the grain cart in. It's all back together as far as the other side is, so we just gotta wait for those O-rings for tomorrow. I got some floor dry to put on the floor where we spilled 80-90 and some other stuff, but that's it. That's how you do it. She's done. One turn off, torque to 50. All good to go. S-cam wasn't in near as bad a shape on this side as it was on the other side. The other side, I think, is where I have more problems too. But anyway, it ain't hot, but it's humid. Michigan, so it rained and it's like 150% humidity. So yeah. So that's it for this project. I'd say you guys can, if you guys are following this video, you guys know how to screw a plastic cap back on and then put wheels back on. It's not rocket science. So hope you guys enjoyed. Hope it was helpful. We'll see you in the next one. Like, comment, and subscribe.